That's right.
You ever heard somebody preach a sermon before?
Yes. And I'm like,
Yeah.
and then they're like, I was inspired by the Holy Spirit. And I'm
Yes. Yes. Plagiarism is a wonderful inspiration.
like, it wasn't the whole sermon, it was pieces of it. But I was like, wow, I think I preached that before. Yep.
Somebody literally preached a sermon that I had preached almost verbatim, and I was there. I was visiting their AME annual conference,
Uh-huh.
like thousands of miles from my home, and I wasn't supposed to be there, and I was there. Just so happens I had literally preached that sermon at an older colleague's church, like maybe a year before,
Mm-hmm.
and I was sitting next to him during the service. Now you can't make this stuff up, right?
Oh, wow.
And so the guy leans over to me and he says, "You know, if somebody gonna preach your stuff, they should at least do it right."
Oh, wow. 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 That's bad, man. That's really bad.
Same title, same text, same point.
I mean, titles go around and come around. I'm not worried about the title. It's usually the
Of
content that's
course.
the issue. But, I'm like, wow, that's deep, man. That's really deep. And that's actually that's hurtful, to be frank with you. That's just hurtful.
So is a sermon like protected as intellectual property?
Only if you got to copyright it.
Yeah, well, the King family would think so. You can't, man, you can't use
They
anything as Dr.
copyright all
King.
about the King stuff, though. They got everything copyrighted.
They're like running up on little kids, man, at like oratorical contests. Hey, stop it. Oh, goodness gracious, folks. Good morning. Welcome to the Power Hour. Of course, you know what this is. And so if you are as we would say in our churches, if you're a first-time visitor, you're a first-time worshiper with us this morning on the Power Hour, welcome and turn to your neighbor, shake their hands digitally.
Neighbor, oh neighbor.
Look, I'm trying to get to the open of the show. These church jokes are just too easy. I mean, if there is a good thing that's come out of COVID, and it's very few, it is that, thank God, at some point, we'll never have to go to church again and have the preacher tell you like 30 times in one sermon. Now lean back over your neighbor. Now tell your other neighbor. Now touch 4 neighbors. Now high five 10 neighbors. Now run around and find the neighbor you don't know. I'm like, man, just preach.
Everybody needs their hook. It's just one person used it, and then everybody decided to run with it.
Yeah, it's probably a great thing the first time it happened. And then it's like, I mean, it's just, it is, you're right. It's the abuse of it that just gets me. I mean, I don't mind it in general.
Okay, wait a minute. Raphael just made a statement. He said, preaching is the next best thing to do in order to avoid really working. I am sure that you are one of those preachers who was really called, I'm sure you aren't one of those preachers who was really called to your profession, right, Doc? Wow. Wow.
Well,
Wow.
yeah, I know. The impression really is that, preaching is a job where you don't do anything except, wake up on Sunday morning, flip open the Bible and just start spouting off whatever comes to the top of your mind, and there's nothing that happens. In all honesty, and by the way, this is the Power Hour, sitting across with Bishop Dwayne Royster. I'm Mark Tyler. Y'all know this already, but, if you didn't, catch up, all right? We don't have a whole lot of time today. But yeah, there's this impression that we don't do anything. And first of all, it couldn't be further from the truth. And it has never been that way. Tending to a congregation, even a small congregation of 50 to 100 people, can be very demanding.
Yeah.
All the things that happen behind the scenes. But in today's world, man, I mean, it's all the other stuff that they never told you in seminary. You have to learn how to read contracts. I mean, we had
buildings.
we had a cyber attack. I saw what happened to Phil Abundance. They got hit for almost $1 million.
Yeah.
With this phishing attack. We had a similar attack this summer at our church.
I remember.
Yeah, and I mean, and they don't teach you that. Guess who has to handle that? Your finance folk, but as the pastor, you can't walk away from that conversation. Buildings, insurances, I mean, there is a complete business side in addition to all of the other people issues that you have to maintain as well. And so I love the idea that people think it's like, oh man, what an easy job.
Hmm.
Dude, you're a preacher. That's like lush.
They have no idea. Anyway, Raphael says, just kidding, Doc. I know that being a minister is demanding.
Oh, we know Raphael's just messing. I mean, you know, what would this show be without Raphael? It's the Power Hour with Raphael. I mean, we are powered by his Facebook comments. They're awesome. They're epic. And whenever it's kind of a slow day, Raphael will get you all going on social, and he will stir the pot. Yeah, you know, Lois is right. She says, so true, very demanding for preachers. Yes, a lot of stuff. I mean, you never get a day off. I mean, you know, how many of you all, when you're on vacation, people from your job are calling you, and frequently you have to leave a vacation to go back home
Right.
to care for a family that's just had a tragic loss. That doesn't happen to you all. You know, if you're in insurance, it's like, hey, call the other rep. I'm out. Don't call me for 2 weeks. We can't. I mean, we can do that, but we don't do that because it's not how we're made up. So anyway, man, how do we even get on that?
I don't know.
Touch your neighbor. That's what it
Touch
was.
your neighbor. That's what we were joking about. We were doing church jokes. That's what it was.
Touch your neighbor. Give your neighbor COVID.
Oh, don't do that. Don't go there. It's too early still. It's too early for that one.
Cough on your neighbor and tell him.
Jeez.
I'm like, seriously, y'all. That's a wrap.
Well, I mean, if clergy are doing that right now, and I mean, there's some churches that are meeting. If they're doing that right now, that's horrendous. I just want to.
Hey, Asa, touch your neighbor. Tawanda, tell your neighbor. Roberta, high five your neighbor. Roberta's one of my members. Roberta's like, you know that ain't gonna happen.
Yeah. Tawanda said soon. She agreed with me. Too soon. Too soon. But if you're going to touch somebody, you can hit the share button on your phone right now and share on WURD TV Live. So just go ahead and hit the share button and bring it up on your personal Facebook page so other people can see and hear what you're listening to early in the morning.
Great segue. And speaking of somebody like who should not have been like around their neighbor, I'm talking about segues. So the GOP, I mean, a lot of big news right now. We're going to get to Bill Barr. We're going to get to a lot of these cases that are still swirling around. We have less than 2 weeks now before the Electoral College must finish their work and certify this election and declare a winner in the 2020 presidential. But, State Senator Doug Mastriano of Franklin County, Pennsylvania, apparently he'd been, telling his neighbor, tell your neighbor, because this is the guy who helped organize the Rudy Giuliani event that was unmasked in a closed room in a ballroom. Remember the quote unquote hearing?
Yes.
It was designed to be like a hearing. It was not an official hearing by the PA legislature, but They had it. Was this in Gettysburg?
Yeah.
So 19 hours after he left that event, remember, Donald Trump invited a bunch of those GOP representatives who were defending him in PA to the White House to, I guess, celebrate them and plot and plan for how they're going to somehow decertify all of our black votes, like mine. I voted by one of those mail-in ballots. And he showed up 19 hours later, and they said, they walked up to him and was like, yo, excuse me, state senator, you have to leave the White House. Really? Is it like a threat or something? No. Your COVID test just came back. You're positive.
Wow.
Allegedly. According to AP and their sources.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Bruh took COVID to the White House, so they say.
Well, I mean, he probably got the strain that was in the White House. Wasn't it Giuliani that they thought might have had COVID at the time? He was sweating so badly the whole time at the meeting, and the dye was running down the side of his face, and his son had just popped up with COVID.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, this could have been the strain that's been flowing through the White House for the last couple of months that has consistently gotten White House, including the president and White House staffers, sick. That Giuliani's people came in contact with, and he just brought it back. He just didn't leave it in Pennsylvania. He brought it back to them.
Wow. So he's got COVID. So according to sources, while he's trying to toss out legitimately cast votes based on the fact that the Pennsylvania government should have never allowed for mail-in voting to begin with. So they want to retroactively punish those of us who voted according to the rules.
That's right.
And
legal system.
Yeah, so we use the system that was afforded to us. And so you're saying because they did something that was improper, that we should all suffer as a result. So it is the ultimate Hail Mary of all Hail Marys.
Right.
And meanwhile, also in that same vein, and it's like all these like Republicans in Pennsylvania, man, they're just like losing their stuff. U.S. Representative Mike Kelly from PA is taking his claim that the entire election of Pennsylvania be nullified. I guess he wants it to go back to the state legislature, where of course it's Trump friendly, and they would obviously hand the votes over to Trump willingly. He wants to take his case to the Supreme Court of the United States.
Right. He's the one that lost this weekend. So there were a group of Republicans that tried to get all the absentee ballots thrown out. The Pennsylvania Supreme Court basically was like, look, it's too late. You should have fought this 2 years ago when Act 77 was passed in the state legislature by the Republican majority, which changed the voting laws. You should have said something in the primary that helped him to win the primary at the time with the mail-in ballots. You should have said something at this time. You don't get to come now because your candidate lost the nomination in the state that now you want to come back and claim that this was outside the rules. He was like, you were a part of the legislature that actually voted for the change in the rules to the voting system.
Right. I mean, so it's, wow. So they want to, so again, they're trying every effort that they can. This is also happening in Wisconsin, where they want a couple 100,000 votes from Milwaukee and Dane counties, where, guess what, the majority of black folk live, to be thrown out on similar grounds.
Yep.
I don't know if they've given up completely in Michigan. They are in Arizona now, saying they want to actually challenge every vote that was sent in by mail. They want to actually go through every signature. So if your signature is not an exact match,
which nobody's signature ever is.
Right. First of all, there's not enough signature specialists in America to do that in the next 12 days. I don't care if you got them all together in a room. And so in each of these places, the same kind of, repeated thread is coming up. We've talked about it before on the show, that essentially you're saying that wherever black people voted heavily, and most black folk in this country this year took advantage of mail-in voting. You know why? Because black folk have died at a higher rate of COVID-19 than anyone else. So why put yourself through the trouble if you don't have to? It's one less thing to do. My question to you is, at what point does this become about, this become an issue of diminishing returns for the Republicans long term, who, much to, our chagrin, have been making inroads with black folk, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what does this do? I mean, really, like long term, because the Republicans seem to be caught between, if we say something, you're looking at people like the election officials in Georgia speaking up and pushing back on the president and getting death threats by Republicans, right? So people like Mitch McConnell and others are just quiet right now. Does this 20 years from now hurt them as black folk continue to remember this attack against us and this attempt to disenfranchise us one more time, and their unwillingness to stand up to fight for black folk?
Okay, so this is me kind of talking off the cuff about this.
Sure.
So there's a piece of this to which I am sure there's some black people are like, yeah, now you're experiencing what we're experiencing. We always told y'all that there were people coming for us and you wouldn't believe it, and now y'all are living through it. That will actually agree with what they're saying, right? I mean, I've heard black folk say, which I was just totally shocked by, that the election was stolen. And I was like, are you serious? I've actually heard people say this. So
wait, this election?
Yeah, they believe the rhetoric. They were Trumpers.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm like, wow, that's kind of deep. So I think that there are people out there that actually believe in the hype because as black people, we know what it means to constantly be accused and challenged and not, not be believed, and that they're lining up behind it. And this is me speaking off the cuff, right? I think the majority of black folk are sort of like, y'all crazy. And we know that what the deal is. We know that we voted we voted correctly. We did what was within the law. We did what was appropriate and proper. And I'm sorry, this has been the most scrutinized presidential election ever. There's no way people were going to get away with anything the way that this election was going down. So, but I do think that those that are Donald Trump supporters, black Donald Trump supporters, are going to believe the hype and going to, sell this. Now, I do think for a lot of people, there's been a lot of backlash to black Trumpers, right? And people that would otherwise, not think twice about it. I think are concerned, in particular those that are popular, about losing their base and about losing, losing support. I mean, was it Michelle Crissette still hasn't recovered from singing at Donald Trump's inauguration 4 years ago.
Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that there is this deeper place and space that we have to begin to understand that there will be implications for black folk that voted for Trump. Although it shouldn't necessarily be the case, people voted their conscience, but there has been deep reaction by folk in the African-American community. I do want to segue to this, though, 1 minute. There was an article that came out in Huffington Post that there was a Republican, Gabriel Sterling, who was Georgia's voting systems manager. I don't know if you saw this article or not.
Yeah.
He had a press conference basically calling out the two Republican senators from Georgia and Donald Trump, basically saying, you got to stop all this craziness and all condemning these actions and calling for violence. It evidently appears that the Secretary of State for Georgia, Raffensberg, I keep wanting to say, what's his name?
Raffensberger.
Yeah, Raffensberger. That somebody intruded in his house. That his wife, that Sterling's wife has been getting sexualized death threats. That he has gotten death threats that they actually have to have police around their houses 24 hours a day. That Trump has requested a second recount again of Georgia, and the thing about it is that Sterling is like, he's a Trump supporter, but he's calling out, and it's like, Mr. President, you got to stop this, right? People are going to get hurt. There's evidently a young man in his 20s who works for a voting system company, and he is being harassed by Trumpers for the work that he does. For a voting system company. And, Sterling said, look, he and Raffensberger both are public officials. This what goes along with the territory. But this 20-year-old kid was not looking for this. And so basically, I mean, he basically said, look, somebody is going to get killed. As a matter of fact, Donald Trump's lawyer for the Trump campaign, Joe DiGiovanna, said that former U.S. cybersecurity chief Chris Krebs should be shot for defending the integrity of the election. This is the guy that Trump followed the week after the election, right? And this is crazy. These folk are crazy.
Wow. Well, look, we got on that note, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, continue this conversation. And I'm sorry, pardon me. Pardon me.
Pardon you.
Yeah, pardon me. I'm like asking Donald Trump. Can you pardon me? I'm sorry. We got to take a break. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Teresa Lundy, principal and founder of TML Communications. Founded in 2015, TML Communications is a strategic public relations, crisis communications, and community engagement firm that executes messaging strategies that produce results. Here's what we do. We build brands, develop the message, and tell the world your story. Visit tmlfirm.com to learn how we can help you grow today.
Last year, the Pennsylvania Lottery contributed over $1.2 billion to programs that benefit older Pennsylvanians. Programs like senior centers and hot meals, long-term living services and home care, property tax and rent rebates, transit rides, and much more. To learn more, visit palottery.com and check out the interactive map to see how the Pennsylvania Lottery benefits older residents in your county. Players must be 18 or older. Please play responsibly.
WURD family. Join us Friday, December 4th from 1 p.m. till 4 p.m. for our 5th annual Empowerment Experience. And this year, we'll celebrate the history and impact of Black radio in Philadelphia by honoring radio icon Cody Anderson, featuring a WURD host roundtable, music by Jack Drummond and Taylor Samuel, presentations by Iyanla Van Zandt, Kenny Gamble, Bill Anderson, Deanna Williams, Dr. Lucille Ijoy, and more. This virtual event and live broadcast is free. Add a holiday gift box including a WURD mask, souvenir mug, and holiday flair for $35, $20 for 4 WURD members. For more information or to RSVP, visit wordradio.com. Sponsored by Pico, Keystone Plus, Pennsylvania Lottery, Einstein, Dedicated Senior Medical Centers, and TML Communication.
Einstein Healthcare Network salutes all those on the front lines, keeping our communities healthy and safe. Thank you for all that you do. And to everyone doing your part by staying at home, we thank you. Working together, we will continue to slow the spread of coronavirus. Einstein is here for you, just like we've always been.
In Pennsylvania, it's now illegal to sell tobacco products, including cigarettes, cigars, chewing tobacco, vapes, or electronic cigarettes to anyone under 21. Stores can get fined up to $1,000 for selling tobacco to someone who is underage. Know the law. Check IDs. Post your retailer license. Make sure only employees have access to tobacco products and only sell tobacco products to customers aged 21 and older. Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Now, a traffic update on WURD Radio.
Good morning. Pretty quiet start here in Philadelphia. Some usual volume spots. Beginning to pick up a bit southbound 95. Cobbett down through Bridge a bit slow. Further south Allegheny through Girard Light. Northbound moving fine. Westbound Vine Expressway, no major problems at end of the Schuylkill Expressway. Schuylkill westbound, some slowing University through the Vine Expressway through that work zone. Eastbound 76. That is a pretty good ride. PA Turnpike, Blue Route 476 moving fine. 42 major roads in New Jersey off to a quiet start so far this morning. For more traffic information, log on to sigalert.com. I'm Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
Now, a WURD weather update. Here's NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Bill Henley.
A cold morning with clouds and a few snow flurries or some scattered light snow showers, but they won't last and they won't stick. It'll be moving out and sunshine takes over, but no huge warm-up today. A high of 46 this afternoon. Will feel like it's in the upper 30s with the gusty winds. Clear and cold tonight, down to 32 degrees. Partly sunny and not as windy for Thursday. That'll allow temperatures to warm into the low 50s, a high of 52. Then a chance of showers returns later Friday. I'm NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Bill Henley with your most accurate forecast. Count on it.
You're listening to WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD, independent black media.
Welcome back to the Power Hour, hosted by Mark Kelly Tyler and Dwayne David Royster. We're here Monday through Fridays from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. to bring you the latest in the news, happenings around Philadelphia, and, of course, our opinion. We are grateful for everybody that's listening in this morning. And, of course, we started in with one of our most interesting topics. I'm not going to say favorite topics. Besides the church, was some of the happenings around the Trump atmosphere, the Trump orbit this morning. Now, you were getting ready to tell us about pardons. You left us hanging, dangling with, going out the door about pardon me.
Pardon me? You said something?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, pardon me.
Pardon.
Trump is going to pardon, apparently, proactively.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how do you, first of all, let's just talk about what a pardon is.
Yes.
A pardon is, the power of an elected official, the president or a governor, to basically let you go free from something that you have been convicted of. That's the basis of a pardon.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I understand that Jimmy Carter, I guess, pardoned people proactively for, dodging the war.
Mm-hmm.
But they had actually done something, right? So I mean, you were to be a draft dodger back then, and other people would say it's not draft dodger, it was being a conscientious objector. But if you fled to Canada or some other country during the Vietnam era, Carter pardoned those people, but they had already done something in the past that prevented them from coming back home and facing, arrest. How do you then pardon somebody, including yourself, for something you've not yet been accused of, nor been convicted of? I don't understand this universal use of the pardon. I mean, will Trump also pardon his unborn grandchildren, his unborn great-grandchildren?
Wow. Wrote a nice pardon, a blanket pardon for them. That's beautiful.
Yes, if your last name is Trump, you are pardoned forever.
Well, that's one way to make money. You pardon yourself and that you can never be charged with a federal crime. So you can commit all the federal crimes you want.
Pardon me? I didn't hear you. I'm sorry. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, listen. So now the big story yesterday, though, is, I mean, the big story that is trending everywhere, that's going to lead all of your newspapers and, television news programs, is that yesterday an unsealed indictment rolled out on the federal level that has basically said that they have uncovered a plot by someone to try to buy a pardon from the president. Now, it does not allege that the president had any knowledge of this, but it would seems to indicate that whoever it is that was seeking to purchase this pardon was doing so in concert with someone who at least believed they had the power to get this done for them. The names have all been redacted, blacked out. It's about 18 pages. This is a very serious, matter. It's not something that is speculation. This is a real investigation that's ongoing. So what do you make of this idea that people feel, I guess, okay to try to buy a pardon?
Yeah, I mean, there's actually a whole pardon process that's put in place when President Obama was doing pardons. I mean, he had a whole crew that was reviewing it. The people, you couldn't buy your way into it because there was too many people in the process. But actually, to be quite frank, this makes a lot of sense for Donald Trump, right? Everything's for sale. Everything can be bought. Every deal can be made. That's
so true.
It is. So I'm like, why should we be surprised about this? I don't get this one. I mean, I don't know why anybody would be totally shocked that he would be selling pardons at this point. If
allegedly,
you have enough money, you can get a pardon.
Allegedly.
Alleged. Okay. Alleged. Yes. But if you have enough money, you can allegedly buy a pardon. And this doesn't surprise. This absolutely doesn't surprise me at all, and it makes perfect sense in Donald Trump's chaotic world.
I told you my favorite part of all of this year has been when he came out of the hospital from COVID. He put that salesman hat back on. He's like, "Hi, you may remember me. It's your favorite president, Donald Trump." Folks, that's a quote. I'm not making that up. It's and I'm here to sell my pillow. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm here to do legislation. You're right. Everything is for sale, apparently. And so this kind of fits this overarching thing. I mean, man, let me tell you, over the last 4 years, we have stepped so far away from normal that we don't even know what normal looks like.
We don't.
Can you imagine any other president in the history of the United States, even as corrupt as Richard Nixon was, owning a hotel adjacent to the White House, right across the street, being leased, by the way, from the United States because it was a former postal building, turned into a hotel that before you were elected, you said, if elected, you will shield yourself and you will distance yourself from all your business. That never happened.
Never.
And to think that somehow him and his boys, as they gather, never talk business. Are y'all crazy? You see how this guy rolls. And for 4 years, wait till you hear the report that comes. There's going to be so many reports that come out. I guarantee you one will be how foreign governments and business entities and lobbyists all will talk about how they were forced into getting hotel rooms and booking events at Trump's hotel at the risk of losing their business with the White House if they did not do this. I mean, that alone is impeachable. That one
That's the emolument clause right there. That's the emolument.
That one thing alone, it disqualifies you, and yet that doesn't even rank in the top 10 of the greatest of Trump's offenses.
Not at all. Not at all. I mean, this is the problem, right? With him, everything's a deal. Everything. They said he has made so much money since he's become president, right? You go to Europe, you stay at your own personal golf club, but then mandate that all the people in the military, all the Secret Service agents, everybody else stays at your hotel while you're over there. You go down to Mar-a-Lago, your golf club. You charge everybody that comes down there. You meet other foreign dignitaries at the same place while they stay there, that their countries pay for them to stay there while they are meeting with you. It all is about making a buck, right? It's all, and it's using other people's money. This is the other thing that he does really well, right? So every time he goes to the golf club, he's flying on Air Force One that you and I are paying for. Right? He has security that you and I pay for, right? All these 400 some odd days that he's been playing golf on his own time, supposedly, we're paying for that, right? Every time he goes to a golf course, we're paying for that. We might not be paying for the fees, but we're paying for the security. We're paying for all the things that go along with that. We're paying for the food for all these people that are going out there with. We're paying for all this. That's our money.
Used to be our money. He tell you like Gator told him and do the right thing. I mean, Jungle Fever. Where's the TV, Gator? I smoked the TV. Where's the money, Trump? I smoked the money. Your money has been smoked. It's gone. Wow. I smoked it. It's at Mar-a-Lago. It's in New Jersey at Bedminster. It's in Virginia. It's in Ireland. It's at all my resorts. Your money is gone. I mean, he is so. First of all, remember, he's golfed more than Obama. He's golfed almost, I will say,
a year. He's golfed over a year.
Right. And Obama, now these are the ones that are reported. As we said the other day, there are a number of times where he's been seen on his courses in golf clothing, and the people who have to report out to the media what he did for that day would not confirm whether or not he had been golfing. They want to keep those numbers down. So let's be clear. He has golfed almost as much, if not more, as Obama in eight years. He's done it in 4, and it's all been done, as you said, on the taxpayer's dime, and they have been exclusively in his resorts.
That's right.
I mean, he didn't even show the love.
He goes down to Virginia to golf at his course.
Bro, he didn't even show love to public courses. I'm not a golfer, but I understand it. And a part of what presidents do is if they golf at your course, it does something to raise the esteem. Absolutely. And it helps the local economy. I grew up in Oakland off of a street called Golf Links. The reason it's called Golf Links at 98th is that it ends up, if you go all the way up the hill, it ends at a golf course, right? I didn't understand that when I was growing up. But if he were to have golfed at that golf course, that does something to your local economy. That's what presidents do, how they leverage the power to basically help lift up, but in 4 years, he has kept all of that to himself. I mean, there has never been a more selfish president. And again, I mean, at what point do his followers ever stop? We are watching what cult behavior looks like.
That's right, absolutely.
Because if you're saying that initially I'm doing this because I'm a Republican, I support him because he supports Republican values, well, that has become a moving goalpost at this point. And so now you're going to say even Bill Barr, who you all were caping for in the most serious way, who's come out and said that there was no corruption, now Bill Barr is a liar. Is this not what cults do?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it's actually it's wild, right? Because Barr had said nothing until Trump got up there and said, where's the DOJ and the FBI? Why aren't they investigating this? There seems to be a problem with that. And then Barr comes out the next day and it's like, there's absolutely no sign of any fraud whatsoever in this election. And I'm like, Barr's like, wait a minute. You have gone off the deep end. Now, he was carrying the party line for a long time. I think Barr sees the writing on the wall and knows he's going to need a job in a minute, so he better start acting like he's a regular Republican again.
Yeah,
and not a Trumper.
Right. So somebody wants to make the point that I was arguing the other day that he did nothing illegal. It is not illegal. It's not. And I still hold to that. And I never said when he did nothing illegal, I was trying to justify him. My point is that he's done nothing illegal. Folks,
that's a lawyer you're arguing with. I just want to let you know.
I got you. And I'm good here. Impeachable, dear lawyer, being impeachable is not necessarily doing something that is criminal. Is that right? It doesn't have to be a crime. Bill Clinton was impeached, not right?
Right, he was impeached.
Yeah.
For a moral failure, more so than anything else.
Okay, thank you. That's my point. And so if you're going to try to benefit from your office, and that's what he has done. I mean, just the act, it is an immoral act to use the office in that way. That's the point that I'm trying to make. And that he has continued to flaunt conventions. I mean, the idea that Trump is even floating that he is going to hold a competing event during Joe Biden's inauguration. This is just so deeply offensive. Remember, during the Democratic National Convention, typically, no matter how these candidates hate each other, when the Republicans have their convention, the Democrats go radio silent. Give them their week. It's your week. We're not going to campaign. We're not going to do anything. It's your week. You got the stage. We're out of the way. What does Trump do? Every day he's out holding major events trying to compete with the Democrats and with Joe Biden. I mean, this is what I'm saying. He has completely destroyed, he's tried to destroy, I should say, everything that we have believed, ought to make this society govern, in the right kind of way. It's going to take years to build it back up. And again, I just don't know, man. The Republican Party got some real soul searching to do over the next 4 to 10 years, whether they're going to find a new Trump or whether they're going to try to rebuild their brand. And frankly, I don't really know. The jury is out, bro.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that that's part of the problem because they've won now using Trump-esque powers and attitude. And they recognize that there's 70-some-odd million people in this country that like that craziness and that insanity. And so they might stick with that. I mean, here's the thing. I think what we're going to see is a split in the Republican Party. There's going to be the Trump Republicans, or what I refer to as the Trumpers, and then there's going to be the Republicans. And I think we can deal with the Republicans. We can't deal with the Trumpers, right? In much the same way that, I'm just as, and for people that don't know me or haven't listened to me very long, I'm just as big a critic of the Democratic Party as well. You all should hear me on my other show.
Guilty.
And I mean, I'm a big critic of the Democratic Party. As a matter of fact, I'm a member of the Working Families Party. So, there is a big challenge here in terms of, critique of both parties and in terms of where they're going. But I do think, I think the Tea Party tried to split the Republican Party in some ways and tried to pull it more conservative. I think Trumpism and Trumpers are going to split the party, period. And we might wind up with another party that comes out of the Republican Party, even though I think there's going to be a progressive wing that's going to wind up coming out of the Democratic Party as well.
All right, on that note, we got to take a quick break, and when we come back, we got one more segment. Unfortunately, man, we're running out of time. We do need this other hour. We got to go back retroactively. We need 5 a.m. Kuwaisa, are you down with 5 a.m. to start?
Don't do it.
Kuwaisa. Kuwaisa. Pardon me.
I'm not answering for a reason.
Pardon me. Can we do 5 a.m. Kuwaisa?
It's too early.
Hey, you all just turn on. I'll be on from 5 to 6. You all join me at 6. We got to take a break. We'll be right back.
COVID-19 impacted a lot of things this year, including regular vaccination appointments.
Vaccines help protect you and everyone around you, especially during flu season. Schedule an appointment with your healthcare provider today to make sure you and your children are vaccinated. Vaccines keep us safe, and they work. Skip the flu this year. Get your vaccination today. Let's stay protected together. For more information, visit health.pa.gov. Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Want the latest in Word swag? Check out the shop tab on WURDradio.com. Hoodies, tees, and more in a variety of colors. The shop tab on WURDradio.com. Show the world that you're all about black. Talk Media in celebration of radio icon Cody Anderson.
Hey guys, this is Eric Nixon, production coordinator and producer of Evening Words and the Envy McKee Show here at WURD Radio. I have special memories of Cody Anderson while working here at WURD Radio. One was during the 990 movement launch, where Cody had instructed me as the producer to cut the microphone and have dead air during that time. To Cody's point, he wanted to help people realize what it would sound like without a voice in the community. Just proving the point that us being on air was pivotal to continuing our contribution to the black voice of America.
Join us for the 5th Annual Empowerment Experience as we honor and celebrate radio icon Cody Anderson and his contributions to independent black media. RSVP now at WURDradio.com and join us live on air Friday, December 4th from 1 p.m. till 4 p.m. exclusively on WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. Streaming live on WURDradio.com, the WURD Radio app, or watch live on WURD TV via Facebook and YouTube. Sponsored by Pico, Keystone Plus, Pennsylvania Lottery, Einstein, Dedicated Senior Medical Centers, and TML Communication. Now, a traffic update on WURD Radio.
Good morning. This report sponsored by Ace, the Healthful Place. 95 southbound getting busy. Common down through Bridge through the construction. And again, Allegheny through Girard. Northbound side, not bad. Westbound Vine, a little slow. 8th out through Broad. Again, from the Parkway through the Schuylkill Expressway. Schuylkill westbound University through the Vine getting busy. Again, City out to Belmont Light eastbound. Not too bad this morning. A little slow in the area of Penrose Avenue through Front Street through that construction area. PA Turnpike, Blue Route 476 moving fine. 55 northbound. Some volume that picks up from Deptford into 42 now. Right now, get free assembly and delivery on all grills and accessories, $3.99 and up. For the best help on the best grill, stop by your local Ace. For Ace Reward members, valid through December 24th. See participating stores for scheduling or exclusions. For more traffic information, log on to SIGAlert.com. Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
Now, a WURD weather update. Here's NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Bill Henley.
Another cold, blustery day today with clouds and a few flurries possible this morning. That clears out. Sunshine takes us to 46 this afternoon, but it's going to feel like it's in the 30s thanks to those cold winds. Tonight, we drop down to 32 degrees with less wind and mostly clear skies. Tomorrow, partly sunny, 52 the high. Then rain clouds return later Friday. I'm NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Bill Henley with your most accurate forecast. Count on it.
You're listening to WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD, independent black media.
Welcome back to the Power Hour with Mark Kelly Tyler and Dwayne Royster. Hey, WURD listeners, tune in to WURD Radio Friday, December 4th for a virtual empowerment experience at 1 p.m. honoring radio icon Cody Anderson. WURD Radio's 5th annual empowerment experience celebrating the history and impact of black radio in Philadelphia will take place virtually on WURD Radio's 96.1 FM and 900 AM. You can also watch this program via WURD TV through Facebook Live, YouTube, and on WURDradio.com. The virtual event will be honoring radio icon Cody Anderson with remarkable presentations by his son Bill Anderson, Kenny Gamble, Yolanda Van Zant, and more. The virtual experience will begin at 1 p.m. and feature a virtual roundtable with WURD host and Cody Anderson, music, poetry, reflections, and more. This virtual event is free. Registration is required. For more information and to register, go to WURDradio.com. WURDradio.com. And big congratulations and well-deserved celebration for Cody Anderson. Cody, we appreciate you so much. We've learned so much from you throughout the years. Deeply appreciate that. All right. We have a special caller on the line right now, and we want to welcome him to the Power Hour. Maurice, welcome to the
First-time caller.
It's a first-time caller.
Hey, listen, I really appreciate you guys welcoming me in on your little private party that y'all have every morning. But listen, this is what I want to say that's really frightening, is that, you know what, as black Democrats here in Philadelphia, we're pretty similar to Republicans with Trump, because we have a city council and a mayor that we seem to follow and don't do anything. I mean, I want to you guys, you know more than me, and I have to admit, what has the mayor and city council done for black people in the last 4 years that you can tell me that they've done to help black people? Name one thing. Please help me so I can have a little bit of peace this morning. Except for a statue.
Thanks, Maurice. I mean, you know, the two of us are obviously big critics of local government. I mean, that's a lot of what we do is try to push them to have a bigger vision. And I would say that I say overall the real problem is not that they haven't done anything. I won't say that, but what I will say is I don't think they have leveraged the opportunity well. That, you know, this is Philadelphia. We sit between two powerhouses on I-95. We have strategically and geographically, we have one of the most, I mean, people would covet and kill to have the location that we have, right? We're between New York City, where the money is, Washington, D.C., where the political power is, and yet we're the poorest big city in America. That doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, when you go to D.C. and you see, and people in D.C. will quickly tell you it ain't all that, but D.C. and the Maryland suburbs, black folk have a pretty high standard of living by comparison. You don't see those kind of, I mean, you got Mount Airy here, we got a few pockets, but we don't have those same kind of, you know, places. And it's always made me wonder. And I think that a part of it is that we have not been represented by and large. Again, this is not a blanket statement against everybody. So people on council don't start blowing my phone up this morning. But by and large, the kind of big and bold and ambitious vision, we've been, you know, governed by a lot of managers. I mean, look at the tax abatement. I was reading that this morning. We're still debating about a tax abatement. Why do you even think you need a 10-year tax abatement to inspire, you know, housing in Philadelphia? And if it's all of that, why hasn't, you know, all of this new construction led to a bigger tax base and more money in? I mean, it seems like we're just as bad off now with all this new construction, and the only people who seem to be benefiting are the trades who are making money building houses. That, as Denise Claywood used to say on our whole show, in 20 years, we're going to have the best kept Section 8 housing in the country. And I have to agree with her, because who can afford it at this point?
Absolutely. I think that is part of the challenge that we are faced with at this moment. We don't have any vision. I say that all the time, that there's not a big vision for our city, and we're not going to be able to incrementally get ourselves out of this struggle, right? We're going to need a big, bold vision that's radical, that people are going to, you know, throw down on together to create the shift that we need in the city of Philadelphia. So I hear you, although, Maurice, we were supposed to talk about Bill Barr. But anyway, that is that is the thing. Hey, I do want to just talk about this one piece real quick. Governor Wolf had a press conference the other day and was talking about the fact that Pennsylvania is almost out of ICU beds, and that their hospitals, my brother's actually in the hospital right now, and the hospital he's in is actually out of beds. Literally there are, you know, because of COVID cases are going back up. And just to want to remind people, please, you know, face mask, hand sanitizer, do what you got to do to protect yourself and your loved ones in this particular moment in time. Too many people travel during the Thanksgiving holiday. In a few days, we're about to see the repercussions of all of that. And just want to remind people to please be safe out there. We're going to run out of ICU beds. We're going to run out of beds, period. And then there's going to be a lack of machinery if we don't get this thing under control. So please stay safe. You know, quarantine yourself if you can, and protect yourself to the best of your ability.
But bro, I mean, listen, and thank you for bringing this up. You know, before we close out, COVID right now it couldn't have found a better host than America. I mean, we are a great host for COVID and is having a great time here, because this is America. And it's, we knew that if it was going to stretch out past a certain amount of time, that Americans are just going to give up. They don't care. It's like, you know what? If I die, I die. Well, that's fine if you catch COVID and you can't pass it on to somebody. But because you can, and because you're walking around in stores coughing and doing whatever it is you're doing, I mean, look at the NFL. I was saying this back in the summer. Like, I don't know how in the hell you think you're going to have an NFL season. Yeah. Tonight is Tuesday night, and we're about to watch a game. There is no such thing as Tuesday night football. It's Tuesday night because the Steelers and the Ravens keep catching COVID. 10 days in a row, the team is tested positive, and they're going to still play the game. Because, again, we care more about games and money than we do about people and living. And so, again, COVID has found a great and welcoming host. And until the vaccine becomes readily available, there's nothing that's going to stop this. In fact, there's no sign that says that where we are, what you just said, maxed out hospital beds, is not going to change anything, because there's a portion in this society, Trump or not, that would have been acting this way all along. That my personal satisfaction and happiness is more important than yours. And that is antithetical to what we as black folk believe, which is I exist because we exist. If there is no we, there is no me. And I'm telling you, bro, come on, Moderna, come on, Pfizer, come on, AstraZeneca. Let's get that stuff rolling, because that's the only thing that's going to change this game.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, that is the reality that we're facing at this moment. And even then, well, we should say, first of all, some of the vaccines have already been shipped over here. Pfizer's been shipping their vaccines here. They're in a storage facility in Michigan right now, and they are ready to get it on the ground. However, when the vaccine first comes out, it's probably going to go to medical professionals first, especially those that are working in hospitals. Not all medical professionals are, doing in hospital work. And then it'll eventually get out to everybody else. They're saying maybe everybody will get to shot until sometime in the summertime. So we still have months ahead of us of this that will require us to be diligent and practice good safety. And thank you again to all the essential workers that are out there that are on the front lines. My wife is a nurse, and I talk about that periodically. My daughter's a certified nursing assistant. My sister works in healthcare, and my sister-in-law works in healthcare. We have a lot of black folk have a lot of folk that are on the front lines, and it's very important for us to continually thank and charge. They're exhausted. They're beat up right now. And a lot of them are worried, right? As this thing gets intensifies, they're worried about bringing this back into their homes with their families. What are they going to do with their children? What happens if one of their family members gets sick, and there's no hospital beds? All this stuff goes through their heads, right? We're actually seeing a lot of healthcare workers that are suffering from deep depression as a result of the exhaustion right now. And to be quite frank, we want our healthcare workers healthy and imaginative and creative, and that their minds are firing on all cylinders so that they can treat each and every one of us, regardless of whatever illness or disease we have, to the best of our abilities. So anyway, well, thank you everybody for joining us on the Power Hour today. We deeply appreciate you, especially all those checked in. Thanks, Maurice, for giving us a call today. Bill Barr, yeah. And thank you, Grace, for holding it down. Reverend Tyler, checking all y'all out. Antonia, we see you. We know that you are out there. Appreciate you checking in with us today on Facebook Live as well. All right, folks, we'll be back tomorrow morning at 6 a.m.
Pardon me, what'd you say?
You're not getting a pardon. You're not getting a pardon.
What'd you say, pardon?
6 a.m. to 7 a.m. to bring you the latest news, happenings around Philadelphia, and, of course, our opinion. Stay tuned now for Solomon Jones. We'll wake up with Word. Go out, change the damn world, because if you don't, nobody else will. Peace.